Welcome to Sleepless Creatives, a sleep podcast for performers and creators, with me, Florence St. Ledger, a queer and neurodivergent actor and voice actor. If you like the show, remember to follow us on social media or leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Facebook. You can also visit our website, sleeplesscreativespodcast.co.uk. And now, on with the episode. Hello creators, and welcome back. We celebrated International Women's Day this month on the 8th of March, so, as usual, I have chosen today's text to feature an amazing feminist writer who led an incredibly interesting life. So today I'm going to be reading 17th century feminist poet and dramatist Afra Behn, who was not only a talented writer but also a spy for the English government, who went by the codename Estrella, up until she was arrested for bankruptcy and turned to writing to save herself from the debtor's prison. She was known for her female-oriented love poetry and was one of the earliest female professional writers of the Restoration era. She made a living, right up until the time she died, from writing at a time when a woman's lot in life was to rely solely on her husband's income. In her time, her plays were known to be notoriously scandalous and widely criticised by audiences, something that she said wouldn't be a problem if they were written by a man, which still rings true for women everywhere, even today. So, take a moment to get cozy and comfortable and drift off. The disappointment. One day, the amorous Lysander, by an impatient passion swayed, surprised fair Chloris that love it made, who could defend herself no longer. All things did with his love conspire, the gilded planet of the day, in his gay chariot drawn by fire, was now descending to the sea, and left no light to guide the world, but what from Chloris' brighter eyes was hurled. In a lone thicket, made for love, silent as yielding maids consent, she with a charming languishment permits his force, yet gently strove, her hands his bosom softly met, but not to put him back designed, rather to draw him on inclined, whilst he lay trembling at her feet, resistance 'tis too late to shew, she wants the power to say, "Ah, what do you do?" Her bright eyes sweat, and yet severe, where love and shame confusedly strive. Fresh vigour to Lysander give, and whispering softly in his ear, she cried, "Cease, cease, your vain desire, or I'll call out, what would you do? My dearer honour, even to you, I cannot, must not give, retire, or take that life whose chiefest part I gave you with the conquest of my heart. But he is much unused to fear, as he was capable of love, the blessed minutes to improve, kissed her lips, her neck, her hair, each touch her new desires alarms. His burning trembling hand he pressed upon her melting snowy breast, while she lay panting in his arms. All her unguarded beauties lie, the spoils and trophies of the enemy. And now, without respect or fear, he seeks the objects of his vows. His love no modesty allows, by swift degrees advancing where his daring hand that altar seized, where gods of love do sacrifice. That awful throne, that paradise, where rage is tamed and anger pleased. That living fountain from those trills, the melted soul in liquid drops distills. Her balmy lips encountering his, their bodies as their souls are joined, where both in transports were confined, extend themselves upon the moss. Chloris half dead and breathless lay, her eyes appeared like humid light, such as divides the day and night, or falling stars whose fires decay, and now no signs of life she shows, but what in short breath sighs returns and goes. He saw how at her length she lay, he saw her rising bosom bare, her loose thin robes through which appear a shape designed for love and play. Abandoned by her pride and shame, she does her softest sweet dispense, offering her virgin innocence, a victim to love's sacred flame, whilst the ravished shepherd lies, unable to perform the sacrifice. Ready to taste 1,000 joys, the two transported hapless swain found the vast pleasure turned to pain, pleasure which too much love destroys. The willing garments by he laid, and heaven all open to his view, mad to possess himself he threw on the defenceless, lovely maid. But oh, what envious gods conspire to snatch his power, yet leave him the desire. Nature's support, without whose aid she can no humane being give, itself now wants the art to live. Faintness its slackened nerves invade. In vain the enraged youth essayed to call his fleeting vigour back. No motion 'twill from motion take, excess of love his love betrayed. In vain he toils, in vain commands, the insensible fell weeping in his hands. In this so amorous cruel strife, where love and fate were too severe, the poor Lysander in despair renounced his reason with his life. Now all the brisk and active fire that should the nobler part inflame, unactive, frigid, dull became, and left no spark for new desire. Not all her naked charms could move, or calm that rage that had debauched his love. Chloris, returning from the trance which love and soft desire had bred, her timorous hand she gently laid, or guided by design or chance, upon that fabulous Priapus, that potent god, as poets feign. But never did young shepherdess, gathering a fern upon the plain, more nimbly draw her fingers back, finding beneath the verdant leaves a snake. Then Chloris her fair hand withdrew, finding that god of her desires, disarmed of all its powerful fires, and cold as flowers bathed in the morning dew. Who can the nymph's confusion guess? The blood forsook the kinder place, and shrewd with blushes all her face, which both disdain and shame express, and from Lysander's arms she fled, leaving him fainting on the gloomy bed. Like lightning through the grove she hies, or Daphne from the Delphic god. No print upon the grassy road she leaves to instruct pursuing eyes. The wind that wantoned in her hair, and with her ruffled garments played, discovered in the flying maid all that the gods e'er made of fair. So Venus, when her love was slain, with fear and haste flew o'er the fatal plain. The nymph's resentments none but I can well imagine and condole, but none can guess Lysander's soul. But those who swayed his destiny, his silent griefs, swell up to storms, and not one god his fury spares. He cursed his birth, his fate, his stars, but more the shepherdess's charms, whose soft bewitching influence had damned him to the hell of impotence. Angelica's Lament. Had I remained in innocent security, I should have thought all men were born my slaves, and worn my power like lightning in my eyes, to have destroyed at pleasure when offended. But when love held the mirror, the undeceiving glass reflected all the weakness of my soul, and made me know my richest treasure being lost, my honour. All the remaining spoil could not be worth the conqueror's care or value. Oh, how I fell like a long-worshipped idol, discovering all the cheat. The dream. All trembling in my arms, Aminta lay, defending of the bliss I strove to take, raising my rapture by her kind delay. Her force so charming was and weak. The soft resistance did betray the grant, while I pressed on the heaven of my desires. Her rising breasts with nimbler motions pant, her dying eyes assume new fires. Now to the height of languishment she grows, and still her looks new charms put on. Now the last mystery of love she knows. We sigh and kiss. I waked, and all was done. 'Twas but a dream, yet by my heart I knew, which still was panting, part of it was true. Oh, how I strove the rest to have believed, ashamed and angry to be undeceived. Love's Witness. Slight, unpremeditated words are borne by every common wind into the air, carelessly uttered die as soon as born, and in one instant give hope and fear, breathing all contraries to the same wind, according to the caprice of the mind. But billet-doux are constant witnesses, substantial records to eternity, just evidences who the truth confess, on which the lover safely may rely, their serious thoughts digested and resolved, and last, when words are into clouds devolved. The Willing Mistress. Amintus led me to a grove where all the trees did shade us. The sun itself, though it had strove, it could not have betrayed us. The place secured from humane eyes, no other fear allows, but when the winds that gently rise do kiss the yielding boughs. Down there we sat upon the moss, and I'd begin to play 1,000 amorous tricks to pass the heat of all the day. A many kisses he did give, and I returned the same, which made me willing to receive that which I dare not name. His charming eyes no aid required to tell their softening tale. On her that was already fired, 'twas easy to prevail. He did but kiss and clasp me round, whilst those his thoughts expressed, and laid me gently on the ground. Ah, who can guess the rest?